What's going on? Welcome back to Breezy Acres. We are on day 3 or part 3 of this electric fence, electric gate install. So on day 1 we did the hung the gate there, and then on day 2 we installed all the the actuator and the electronics and the solar panel for the electric gate. So you can go back and watch those videos. Today we're going to be working on putting in the electric fence. That's going to start on this post here and then go through the woods, and it goes about 400 feet into the woods. And again, if you haven't watched these other videos, this is a deterrent to keep our dogs from running down the driveway after the Amazon drivers, because they love to do that. So this way they're going to have to run way into the woods around, and then they can go back and try to catch up to him, but by then he'll be hopefully long gone. Today we're going to try to install an Amazon electric fence system. Well, kind of system. It's kind of a Frankenstein of stuff. It's not all one brand. So I got this electric fence energizer that was, I think it was about $100 Canadian off of Amazon. It says it works up to 5 kilometers. The battery I got, I think it was about $30. It's a 12 volt 12 amp hour, and then this is like, I think it was about 1,300 feet of electric fence wire, and that was, I think, around $40. Now this thing says you can use it with a power plug or battery, so what I'm going to be doing is using it with a battery because I don't have electrical out here. And then I haven't got it yet, but it's supposed to be coming today. Is just a little $50 5-watt solar panel to charge the battery. Because electric fences, even though they shock pretty hard, they don't actually use much electricity. For the posts, I have bought the Amazon post hooks and clips before. And insulators. I don't like them because they tend to crack really quick from the UV exposure. So I bought these, are Gallagher ones, which is a pretty good name brand in the electric fence industry. So I find them, I've had this electric fence up here for 3 years now, and the black ones I've hardly replaced any, whereas the yellow Amazon ones, I've replaced a bunch of those. I think the black stands up to the UV light better as well. I'm going to talk about some of the deficiencies here I found with this thing. These are the ground stakes, and I'm not really sure how well they're going to work. I'm not even going to use them because I don't think they go deep enough. And then this is the ground wire that comes with it, which I also don't think is going to work very well, because it's very short, which means I'd have to have this thing like right close to the ground, which means it's going to get buried in snow, because we get like 2 or 3 feet of snow. So these are some of the things I think you might need if you're going to use this kit. So you may need to use these joint clips to join wires together, like the ground wire to the electrical wire. This is some heavier gauge ground wire. It's a solid core, and I think it is what gauge is this? So yeah, this is a 10 gauge wire, so it's going to be a lot better for your ground wire. And then I got some other T-post clips, because I have a mixture of T-posts and wood posts. I use T-posts to go through the forest, like you see here, because I can't get my tractor, which has a post hole digger, in there. So these ones are easy to pound in. And then where I could, I'd use the wood ones along our trail you'll see later, where I could get the tractor in. This is the old wire that I used to use, the Gallagher turbo wire, and it's really good wire, but it's really expensive. I think a roll of this, for the equivalent length of this one, was, I think this was $188 Canadian, and this was $40. Now I can tell already that when you compare the two, this one here is, the Amazon stuff's a lot thinner. So it does say it has 9 strands of metal through it, so it should still conduct pretty good. But we'll see how long that lasts. The other thing you're probably going to need is a ground clamp, so you can clamp the wire to the whatever ground rod you're going to use. And these here are wire tensioners, so once you'll eventually develop slack in the electric wires. So you put these on, you twist them around on the wire, and then they just stay on there, and you can just tighten them as tight as you need it. So you'll probably need some of those. You can probably find plastic Amazon ones cheaper. These are Gallagher ones. They're not really cheap, but I had a bunch left over. All right, so we're gonna have to work fast here because I only have, I think, a couple hours before it's supposed to rain again. So I'm gonna just try to get all these insulators put in on the posts as quick as I can. There's not really much to see with that. I'll show you the first couple, and then we'll come back and we'll start putting the line on. So when you're doing the wood post ones, these are the ones I get. I like these ones. You will need to buy this tool. It just allows you to put them inside, and then they're easy to screw in. So we're gonna be putting the first row here pretty close to the ground. We don't want the dogs to get underneath it. And I didn't push it in far enough. And it's hard to see on here because you don't know which way it's sitting, but if you look here, there's one spot that points down, so that's what you want pointed to the ground. And we're gonna keep these bottom rows pretty close together. I think we're gonna have to do 4 or 5 rows probably. All right, these are the T-post ones. They're pretty simple. You can either just slide them from the top down, or if you just go like this and then push it around, they clip on like that too. You can get the T-posts that have the notches in it, and so these don't slide around, which is a lot better option, but they're way more expensive where I live. So what I do is I just get these ones with the holes, and then I'll just put a zip tie through the hole where I want it to stay at, and that keeps it from sliding down. This is the easiest way I found to space your insulators, is just getting a stick and then putting marks here on it where you want them, so you can stick it up against the ground and then just screw them in. Here's a couple of those yellow ones that I was talking about. And you can see they're kind of indented, and that seems to be where they break. So that's like their weak spot, is like right in here. It always breaks off. Whereas these ones are, it's hard to see because it's black, but these ones are solid, so they got more strength in them, and they feel more rubbery, like a rubbery plastic. Not rubber, but I don't know, more flexible. Whereas these are more brittle. For the next step, you want to find some kind of bar that you can through this thing just to make it easier to unwind. And then I just put a loop on the end here, and we just loop it onto the bottom one. We're going to start at the bottom, and now we can start feeding it. And you just want to put it in between each insulator. And then I'll show you what you do when you come to the end of the row. When you're at the end of the row, if you don't want to have to splice them all together all the time, what I do is I'll flip this one upside down so the gap's down there, and then I'll feed the wire through, and then up to the next one. And now we can go back along again. All right, it is a couple weeks later. I was trying to get this video done, but it's been raining so much and I just had to get it done. So we'll kind of go back to this electric fence video, and we'll show you what we did. So we ended up putting the Energizer right here inside this little box that I made, and it's fed by the solar panel, which is going to the battery, and then from there it's plugged into the Energizer. And then I got one wire coming down here to the fence, and then one wire going down here to the ground rod. Now I will mention that I did try it with the rebar, which is only about, I don't know, 1.5 feet, 2 feet long, and I thought that would probably work good because the ground that they give you with this package from the Energizer is just not even a foot long little thin metal stake. So I thought this would work okay, but it did not. What I noticed is that it drained the battery a lot faster than it normally should, and from what I read is that can be caused because it doesn't have a good ground, so it's actually drawing more power than it should. So I ended up getting, I think this is a I think it's a 5/16, yeah, or 5/8, I can't remember, maybe 5/8 ground rod, and it's like 4 feet long. Pounded that in, and then I haven't had any battery draining issues since then, and it does seem to work good. I did accidentally touch it while I had one hand on a tree, and it gives you a pretty good jolt, so it's definitely working. We'll see how well this Amazon wire holds up compared to the turbo wire from Gallagher. So it seems to be doing its job. The dogs don't go near it. That keeps them from going where we don't want them to go. So we'll see how it goes, and we'll see if this little $100 Energizer works very good. The dogs are over annoying the horses over there. But anyway, so that's it for this video, and we'll see you in the next one, and we'll be talking.